Hello and welcome back to our ranked Series 7 VGC climb. If you haven't checked out last episode, make sure you do because we're going to be using the same team that I went over there. But the general idea behind the team is using Buzzwole as kind of a counter to a lot of the current meta physical threats, and then having that Regieleki and Mamoswine there to threaten any of the Airstream users and flying types that Buzzwole really doesn't want to be going up against. So, without further ado, we're just going to dive right in and see who we're up against first today. And as you can see, we did hit Master Ball rank after our games yesterday. Played a few more and kind of dropped down a little bit, so starting to see some of the flaws with this team, but hopefully we can eke out some wins today and mostly just focus on learning more about this team and what to do with it. Okay, so we're against a Raichu, a Rillaboom, an Entei, a Grimmsnarl, a Moltres, and an Urshifu. That's probably Urshifu Water if I'd had to guess. Probably not 3 Dark types on that team, and it does finish out that Fire, Water, Grass core. So kind of similar to some of the stuff we've been seeing in the Players' Cup. I think that what I need to be worried about here is Raichu and Grimmsnarl. I expect one of those to come out in the lead, either to set up screens or to protect the Moltres from our Regieleki. And so we need to be conscious about that. I think I want to just lead Mamoswine here and Incineroar. I think that should give me pretty good answers into most of the leads that we're going to see coming out here. And then in the back, Tapu Fini is pretty good here, although it does worry about the Rillaboom and the Raichu a little bit. Buzzwole, if we take out the Moltres, is actually in an extremely good spot with a favorable matchup into pretty much everything but the Entei. So I do think I'm just going to grab the Buzzwole and the Tapu Fini in the back. Let me just think if we need the Regieleki here. We're a little bit reliant on Mamoswine then to take out Moltres, but I think that's okay. I suppose they could go for a Raichu and Entei lead here, but I think I'm fine with that. Just wouldn't be able to fake out anything. Yeah, so I'm expecting some combination of Moltres with some support. Okay, so they do go Grimmsnarl Entei, which is a pretty good lead here. I guess maybe expecting what I'm going for. Yeah, so I think one of the concerns here is that Entei should outspeed our Mamoswine if it's max speed. I don't know what sets people in running, but that is one concern, is that we don't want to die to just an instant Sacred Fire. They could also max Entei here and just go for a Flare. I think I just want to switch out into Tapu Fini here and go ahead and just throw a Fake out into the Grimmsnarl here, stop them from setting up screens this turn, and maybe have to kind of wait a turn to do that. It could also be a Lagging Tail or Full Incense Grimmsnarl with Trick, and in which case this is fine because I just don't want that Trick going on to my Mamoswine. But, it's not great on the Fini, but it's not the end of the world either. So let's see if they commit the max here. No, they don't. That's smart. Okay, and they just go for Protect on Entei, so that's great for us, actually. And a Fake out onto the Grimmsnarl. So I do believe then Grimmsnarl is probably going for Full Instance or Lagging Tail. Probably trying to trick that on. But that's okay here. I think if I'm my opponent, I'm switching out Entei. Maybe into that Raichu, maybe into Rillaboom, honestly. So I could predict that and just go for a switch back into Mamoswine. But I think here I am pretty safe just to go for a Muddy Water and go ahead and use Parting Shot into the Entei slot. And this allows me to just reposition with the Incineroar. Okay, so they do stay in. So might be going for a Stone Edge onto the Incineroar here. Oh, it's a Snarl. Okay, so more of a supportive set on the Entei. Yeah, I've been used to seeing the kind of physical, bulky offense Enteis from the Players' Cup, so this is a little bit different. But actually the set on Entei I originally wanted to play with back when I was kind of building with Entei. Okay, so not great damage with the light screen and the Snarl, but not the end of the world either. And we can Parting Shot here onto the Entei. We can just kind of slow down this early game. It is going to be pretty slow. We can stall out some screens of light screen here. Yeah. Here we just go back into the Mamoswine. So if it is Snarl Entei, they definitely do have Sacred Fire, but in this situation, I'm fine just going for a Moonblast into the Grimmsnarl and protecting Mamoswine to kind of scout out what they're going for. I think Grimmsnarl is going to try and trick onto the Mamoswine again. They're probably trying to set that up so that A, I can't outspeed the Moltres later in the game, but also that, you know, this Entei can't get KO'd by a Max Quake. They could Max here and go for a Flare, but again, this Entei doesn't seem like it's going to be an offensive set if it's going with Snarl, so you know, it's unclear right now what exactly they're going for. Just get a Calm Mind here to get rid of the Snarl. They could Snarl again and keep me at -1, which is okay. And the Special Defense boost will definitely help against a Moltres, if there is a Moltres in the back, which I expect. Okay, and Entei just goes for a Protect. I wonder if they're slower than my Mamoswine then, if they're going for this play. Okay, and they just go for double screens here. So I think I'm just going to swap right back into Incin here and go for a Muddy Water. I'm just doing this again because if they do have Prankster Trick with a Lagging Tail or Full Incense, we really don't want that onto the Mamoswine. So if they do try something like that against Incin, it just won't work. And also, we just reset Fake Out support for next turn. Okay, and they do withdraw Entei here. And go into Raichu. Okay. So that's not bad for us. I do expect then that last Pokemon is the Moltres, and they're probably setting up for a Moltres endgame. I might want to swap out Feeny here, especially to just reset that. Okay, and they go for Spirit Break into Feeny. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to swap out Feeny here. I want to get rid of those two special attack decreases. It's a pretty obvious swap here, but I think if I go into Buzzwole right now, that's okay. A Spirit Break will do decent damage, but mainly, you know, I just want to avoid taking damage onto the Mamoswine, because if it is that Moltres in the back, I really need it healthy. And they only got 2 turns left of Light Screen, unless it is, I guess it is Light Clay probably, so they do have quite a few turns, and I can just keep stalling those turns out for now. I'm just going to go ahead and Fake Out into the Grimmsnarl. They might just go with a Nuzzle here, but that's not the end of the world. And if it is going for a Volt Switch or something like that, then this is fine. The one worry here is they could just bring in Moltres if they went for Volt Switch. Okay, and they didn't go for Volt Switch, so we're okay. And it's another Spirit Break, so this will do decent damage. But yeah, Buzzwole is very, very bulky on the physical defense side, and again, that's kind of, you know, Grimmsnarl is not the most offensive Pokemon in the first place. So here, I think we can just go ahead and I don't really want to give him a free swap by KOing the Grimmsnarl, at least not until the screens are down. Considering it is probably Light Clay, I don't really want to KO it this turn. So I think I'm just going to go for a Leech Life into the Raichu, just to get some chip damage there, and go for a Parting Shot. If anyone's swapping out here, I think it would be that Raichu into the Moltres, and so with a Volt Switch. So I'm just going to Parting Shot into that slot as well. Just in case Moltres does come in here, I want to go back into Mamoswine. Do go for a Nuzzle into the Buzzwole, not the end of the world. I'd definitely rather see that on the Buzzwole than on my Instant. And since they didn't swap out here, I'm just going to go... I think just go back into Feeny here. Can reset the Misty Terrain so that we can't get nuzzled again. Okay, and they just go for another Spirit Break into us. Ooh, that's a crit. It's an unfortunate crit, especially if we get paralyzed here. Okay, we do get the Leech Life off. Through Reflect, this isn't going to be doing... Oh, wow, that's actually a lot more damage than I expected through the Reflect. Okay, so... Yeah, and it is Light Clay on the Grimmsnarl, so we don't need to be concerned about any trick stuff. So the unfortunate thing here is if I'm my opponent, I'm going to be doubling up into the Feeny. I really just want to take out the Raichu because unless they have Rillaboom at the back, which again, I'm expecting it to be that Moltres, Feeny's in a really good spot if we just KO the Raichu here with super effective damage into everything else. So I'm just going to go for a Leech Life here and really, really hope that we do not get paralyzed. And I'm going to protect the Feeny. It's okay if they read into this. It is pretty obvious. They might target our Buzzwole and just take it out. But that's fine, because I just get a free swap then, and I can KO the Raichu next turn. Yeah, and they do read into it. So smart play by them. Unless they would need to double up here. Okay, and they don't double up. So if we don't get paralyzed, we're in a really good spot. If we do, it's not the end of the world. Okay, great. We don't get paralyzed. Yeah, and you can see even though Buzzwole's special defense stat is pretty low, it's actually just so bulky with the Assault Vest. You know, you really do need super effective damage, and really just the flying type moves are what really, really destroy Buzzwole with that 4 times super effective. But otherwise, he's in a pretty good spot. And they go back into Entei. Light Screen should be ending soon, I believe. Yeah, 2 turns left on the Light Screen. If I'm my opponent, I'm going for another Spirit Break into Feeny this turn, and probably a Snarl. The question is if Buzzwole lives a Snarl, which I think it should with that with the resistances it has. And so I'm actually, I think, content just going for an Iron Head here. Oop, not Dynamax. Going for an Iron Head here into the Grimmsnarl and swapping back into Incineroar. We've been pretty fortunate to not get any full paralyses. We might get one this turn, which would be unfortunate. I actually wouldn't mind if my Buzzwole gets KO'd here. It would give me a free swap, which would be kind of nice, especially if we were going to take the KO into Grimmsnarl. And we do just go for a Snarl. Yeah, that does no damage to Buzzwole, so they do need to double up into the slot. Spirit Break will do decent damage to Incineroar, but Incineroar is very bulky, so barring a crit, I think we're in an okay spot. Oh, and they do just double up into the Buzzwole. Okay, that's fine by me, so I get a free swap. So I'll go back into Feeny here. Light Screen is ending this turn, so I just want to go for a double up into the Grimmsnarl. It's shown 3 of its moves. I'm not expecting it to have Protect, although it could be Protect as that 4th. The question is if I want to Muddy Water here, but I think I do want to just Moonblast to get the KO, and I think it's fairly likely, from the way they've been playing with Entei, that they just Protect here. So I'm going to double up into the Grimmsnarl. Now, they could swap here into Moltres, but it does take a lot of damage on the switch in, even if, you know, it's able to activate a weakness policy from my Moonblast. Okay, and they don't switch. So I think through Snarl, Moonblast is still killing here. It might be close, though, with the Light Screen also up, but we will see. Ah, perfect. And that does get the KO. So if it is Moltres in the back, Light Screen is now down. We have Feeny out here threatening it. Yeah, and it is Moltres, yeah. So I could kind of tell from the way my opponent was playing that they were trying to set up for a Moltres late game by taking out some of the threats. The Snarl on Feeny is a little bit annoying here. But I think it might be a little too slow to go for a Calm Mind. One thing we can do here is Parting Shot into the Moltres and go with a Muddy Water. Even at -1, I think this does pretty good damage. The question is if it does good damage at -2. If I think Entei is going to protect, I might want to Calm Mind, but I think it's safer to just Muddy Water here for chip, and then Parting Shot back onto the Moltres. And we can get into Mamoswine through that. I think they're going to max Moltres this turn. Oh, they don't max Moltres. Okay. So they're just setting up another Snarl, I guess. Maybe predicting me to max there. Okay, so I see. They want the KO onto Incineroar next turn, I believe, is what they're going for, so that I can't get a Parting Shot off. And so they're trying to set it up to a point where Entei and Moltres can double up onto the Incineroar and take it out, which I think I'm fine with, honestly, because Mamoswine should win the 1v1 against Moltres, especially with Feeny helping out. So here I think I'm content to just go for another Muddy Water and Parting Shot into the Moltres yet again. And Entei, I mean, Incineroar might survive a double up here, if I'm being honest, because it is just so bulky, but we'll have to see. If it survives the double up, I think I'm in an amazing spot, and if it doesn't survive the double up, I think we're still doing fine. The annoying part is Moltres will go for an Airstream here, or it should go for an Airstream here, which will give it the speed advantage over Mamoswine. But I think Mamoswine should be able to take a hit as long as Moltres' weakness policy doesn't get procced. Yeah, and there's just Extreme Seed, so they are going for that KO. Unfortunately, my berry does pop, actually. I forgot I was using Citrus, not Figgy Berry. So I think we should survive this. Oh my god, Rockfall. Okay. Is that Ancient Power? I didn't even know Moltres got a Rock type move. Okay, so we're probably not surviving that. Oh man, okay. Instant is just so bulky. We are. Wow, that was, I did not expect that. And the Muddy Water comes out, and we don't get the KO on Entei, but that's okay. And we got another accuracy drop, so Entei has a Pinch Berry, okay. So another Muddy Water looks like it should KO, barring a Snarl, and we do get the Parting Shot off into Moltres. So the one worry here is if we're faster with the Mamoswine. The safest play here would be, I think, to protect the Mamoswine this turn, because if Entei is carrying Sacred Fire, that could be concerning. We've seen Protect, we've seen Snarl, we've seen Extreme Speed. I would expect the last move to be that Sacred Fire. So what we can do is go for a Muddy Water here. I think we're always Muddy Watering. And then the question is if we want to protect the Mamoswine. Or actually, I think we just go for a Max Guard here. And that way we don't take the chip from Moltres either. I think the double up into Mamoswine is really obvious here, and you might not expect the Protect. If you do expect the Protect, you go for a Protect on Entei, which would be a really good play. But again, we're at least then stalling out the Moltres' next turn of Dynamax. I think you do feel like you have to target the Mamoswine, because if I go for a Hailstorm into Moltres and that KOs, you're just in a really, really bad spot. And Entei does go for the Protect. Okay, smart move from them. We're going to see what Moltres goes for here. If Moltres attacks into the Feeny, that's a really good read, but I could have just won the game then by attacking. Okay, no. So we get more Muddy Water chip if this hits. Okay. Smart move by them. Not the end of the world, though. Yeah, Entei being faster than Feeny is really annoying here. I am worried that a double up may KO the Mamoswine, but I think I just need to hope that it doesn't here, because if I go for the double Protect and I miss that, I just lose the game outright. So really smartly played by them, and I'm just going to have to go for a Hailstorm here. Moltres could Protect, which would be kind of smart, but... Or actually, I think you just always have to attack here. Yeah, an Airstream to make sure that you are outspeeding with the Entei, and we'll just see how much physical investment this Entei has, and if Sacred Fire is able to pick up the KO here. Oh my god. I mean, okay, I'll calc after this game. I think that probably doesn't KO, but that is a very fortunate miss. And it's only a 5% chance to miss, so I feel bad. I don't really want to win that way. But you know, it's Pokemon. That does happen. Apologies to my opponent. If I were in that position, I'd feel, you know, pretty cheated of at least just knowing how the game should have played out. Yeah, and that Muddy Water will seal up the game for us. So, you know, as you can see here, I think the main lesson to take from this game is we had to play it really slowly. And a lot of that was stalling out the light screen so that Feeny would not have light screen up and be able to put that chip, and also stalling out the Reflects that Mamoswine could come in at the end. And so you can see I had a lot of options to KO the Grimmsnarl there, but I was intentionally not KOing it because it wasn't really putting that much pressure on the field besides Spirit Breaks. And I really just wanted to stall out because I could tell they had Moltres at the back, and the only way we lose there is if they get Moltres out with screens up, and then I can't KO the Moltres with my Mamoswine. Alright, so while we look for our next opponent, I'm just going to quickly look up the calc on that. So let's see, Mamoswine and Entei. I'm assuming it was bulky Entei, but let's just calc it. With attack, I think it would probably have KO'd. Okay, let's see. Sacred Fire. Oh, Sacred Fire to Dynamax Mamoswine is only doing 30% with max attack and a max roll. So I actually think we were fine there. So that miss doesn't matter, though it is frustrating to lose on a miss. I guess if you get the burn, so, you know, maybe with the burn, then they would have been able to pull out the win. But Moltres' Dynamax was also ending that turn. Okay, and I still had Instant in the back with Fake Out. All right, they've got Ferrothorn, Lapras, Regieleki, Whimsicott, Dracovish, and Landorus. All right, so immediately what I'm seeing is Buzzwole's in a pretty good spot to come out this turn. It only really has to worry about the Landorus. Mamoswine is okay here. It's not amazing. I think we could actually go for Regieleki and Incineroar to start off. And the question is, Feeny is pretty good. It's actually pretty bad here. I don't really want to bring Feeny. I want to bring Buzzwole at the back, and I guess Mamoswine at the back too. Just because we need something to take out Landorus, and if we're not bringing Feeny, which has a pretty bad matchup into 3 of the Pokemon here, we're going to need Mamoswine at the back. This team kind of reminds me of a Series 6 team mixed with Series 7, so I'll be interested to see how it plays out. I wonder if they are just G-maxing Lapras, which I guess is still a decent option, but feels a little bit slow. Could be Life Orb Lapras, but the damage output is still not amazing on that. Okay, and they go Whimsicott Dracovish, so if I'm them, I'm protecting the Whimsicott this turn to keep it alive for next turn. To set up a Tailwind, but I think that I don't think I can predict into that because I really don't want Tailwind going up here, especially with the Dracovish on the field. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and I guess the question is if Electro Web would KO a Whimsicott, and no, because it is not very effective. You know, actually, I think I'm okay here to go for a Volt Switch into the Dracovish and a Fake Out into the Whimsicott. I think if we can just slow down them getting Tailwind up, we're okay. Okay, and they don't protect. Yeah, and that's enough to pick up a KO. Man, Specs Regieleki just hits like a truck. Okay, Landorus might come in here. I think I just want to go straight into Mamoswine. Dissuade them from bringing Landorus out right now. And with Whimsicott on the field, Mamoswine's in a decent spot. Okay, and they do go into Lapras. So they might want to set up screens here. They could Tailwind into Hailstorm to set up screens. But in that case, my... they also might just want to Geyser into Incin. Lapras doesn't have a ton of... I suppose I have to be watching out for a Ferrothorn at the back. So I think I'm content here to... just max Quake into Lapras and lower that damage output, and also Parting Shot it. I think Whimsicott always goes for Tailwind here. But maybe you want a Helping Hand Max Geyser to take out the Incin. And I guess Helping Hand Life Orb Max Geyser from Lapras may be enough. But if you don't get the Tailwind up, then I get the Special Defense boost with my Quake. And that's what I'm going for here. I think it's probably Ferrothorn or Landorus at the back. And if it's Ferrothorn, I need to preserve Incin here. I think if they hard target down my Incin here, it might be an indication that Ferrothorn's at the back. And I actually don't know who wins in the Buzzwole Ferrothorn match. You know, they both kind of wall each other in a good way. I mean, Buzzwole has super effective damage into the Ferrothorn, but Ferrothorn is so bulky that with the Leech Seed Iron Defense set, it might be able to just withstand it. And they do go for the Tailwind, so good move on their part. I don't think that a Max Geyser kills here, though. You might just want to go for the Resonance. Okay, and they do for Geyser. Ooh, okay. I was wrong on the calc. That's not even a crit, just KOs. So that might be a little scary if they have Ferrothorn at the back. Just going for a Quake to get our special defense up. The question here is if I want to go into Buzzwole or Lecky. One thing I'm wondering. Lecky may just outspeed. Carrying Charm. Interesting. Okay, well, my Quakes are not going to be doing much damage now. But Volt Switch is enough to pick out the KO. Yeah. So that's the thing about a Lucky. I am running max speed on my Lucky, which means even in Tailwind, you can outspeed a lot of your opponent's mons. So now we'll see if Ferrothorn or Mamoswine is what they've got, or Landorus is what they've got at the back. If it's Landorus, I'm actually a little bit worried since my Mamoswine just took a Charm. And we're probably not in an amazing spot here to be able to get that KO. Okay, the Quake does decent damage. The boost is not really that helpful as I'm expecting it's a physical threat at the back. I knew it was Ferrothorn. Okay. So I do need to take out the Whimsicott here. Just because these charms are going to be really annoying. So I think I'm just going to go for a Hailstorm into the Whimsicott, and I guess the worry here is that Whimsicott could protect, but I think you're protecting turn 1 if you have it. So I'll just go ahead and also hit them with an Iron Head into the Whimsicott. And then what I'm going to need to do is cycle my Pokemon out. Yeah, and that's the Charm into Buzzwole, it should be. Yeah. So this may KO outright, even with -2. Super effective into Whimsicott. Yeah, Whimsicott is not very bulky. So now I'm in an okay spot because it's a 3v1, and I can cycle out to eliminate Leech Seeds and also get rid of the decrease on my attack. The question is if they're an Iron Defense set. Yeah, Iron Bob's doing more there. Yeah, they are Iron Defense. Okay, so Lecky's actually pretty important now in the late game. And the one worry is I don't want to swap a Lecky into a Body Press. So I think that if you're my opponent here, you're probably Body Pressing the Mamoswine if you're Body Pressing anyone here. Because you know that Body Press is not going to, in all likelihood, is not going to KO. And that's fine. The one worry also, though, is a Gyro Ball will probably do very large damage into my Lecky, so I do need to be worried about, you know, a Gyro Ball. But since everything that you should be able to attack is not very effective into the Buzzwole, I think I feel safer swapping out here, and plus getting the attack decreases off the Buzzwole is pretty important. So even if a Lecky goes down here, I don't think it's the end of the world. They might just go for a Leech Seed, too. Alright, and they're just going for another Iron Defense, so that's fine. So I could have attacked the Mamoswine. I just think it's safer there. Trying to play in a way where, you know, whatever they do doesn't really matter, and we're always in a position to win. And now I'm just going to go swap the Mamoswine back out into the Buzzwole, get rid of those decreases. Ferrothorn can get to +6 defense here, but I think you probably want to KO the Lecky here, if anything. So, because that is going to be doing damage into you no matter what. And you also probably need, if you're not Leech Seeds, I think that I always can just, like, win in the end game anyways. Thunderbolts won't deal a whole lot into him with the, you know, It's not very effective, very, very not very effective, but still, I think we should be in an okay spot here. Yeah, it's still pretty good damage. Yeah, and they go for a body press probably into the Lucky here. Yep, and that should KO, but Lucky's kind of done its job, I think. I don't believe this is a leftover set. Oh, it is leftovers, okay. I could have realized that. So now the question is just if Ferrothorn can outlast us. And honestly, it might be able to. Like, this is definitely not over for them. They need to set up Leech Seeds, though, so that they get that recovery, and then it is definitely winnable. I think here I just want to go for a close combat into Ferrothorn and a Icicle Crash. Okay, and they go for Protect. That's a smart move. You know, just allow Hail Chip to hit the Buzzwole, scout out what I'm going to do, and also heal up a little bit from leftovers. There's no reason not to. Now, some long games today. Definitely appreciate if you've stuck with us from the beginning and are willing to watch through these long ones. But I enjoy long games. I think they're pretty fun. Yeah, and a flinch on Icicle Crash should just, like, seal it up, probably. If we do get a flinch, that'd be very fortunate. But, you know, obviously, you don't want to rely on something like that. Oh, man. Yeah, the damage output is going to be pretty low here. Another close combat may pick up the win, although after leftovers damage, and they should just protect next turn. Probably not. An Iron... Yeah, actually, they may just win this game. Okay, and they go for Leech Seed. I actually don't know if that was the right play. I think there you might want to just go for the body press into Mamoswine to stop the double ups, because I think a body press KOs for sure right now. But you are going to get a lot of healing here off of this Leech Seed. And the leftovers, like, this turn is definitely going to be a protect, but there's nothing, there's no point in me doing anything else here, but you know, doubling up into them anyways. An Icicle Crash miss probably wins them the game, though, at this point. Because I really need my Mamoswine to get enough damage off here. Otherwise, I'm just not going to be doing enough to Ferrothorn in the late game. And Ferrothorn is just such a late game threat because of this. Yeah, so I guess the only play I really regret this game is leaving in my Incineroar. I should have known that it wouldn't survive the Max Geyser there, probably coming off a Hydro Pump. But, you know, for some reason I just thought, oh gosh, okay, that was more healing than I expected. I actually do think that Ferrothorn probably just closes this out for my opponent. I guess the interesting thing is I could have protected there on the Mamoswine, predicting either a Leech Seed or a Body Press is going to come out. If I can crit the close combat or get a flinch here, we're in an okay spot. Ah, but it's not a crit. Yeah. So, if they miss the Leech Seed, maybe. I think my only hope now is basically... Oh, and they do miss the Leech Seed. Okay, so there's hope. Again, kind of fortunate for us. The question is, do 2 Leech Seeds kill Buzzwole at this point? 39 down to 15. Okay, yeah, so that is going to be a KO onto the Buzzwole. Oof, yeah, I mean, I'm basically playing for... I'm basically playing for a crit on the Icicle Crash or a very, very fortunate flinch. Not really where you want to be. Yeah, and I guess my team is just kind of Ferrothorn weak, because I'm trying to think of what, you know, okay, I brought different Pokemon. I don't think Tapu Fini obviously is not going to help at all against the Ferrothorn, and neither is the Whimsicott. So I am kind of just hoping here for a crit or a flinch. Yeah, don't get the crit. And don't get the flinch. Yeah, and that's the game. Well played by my opponent. They played to a Ferrothorn endgame, and really there you can see that was the big mistake on my part, was letting the instant go down, and then that just spiraled out into losing, where Ferrothorn can actually pull back a 1v3. And like, Ferrothorn, Celesteela, those really bulky Leech Seed users, they can just kind of, 1v3, 1v4 a game to pull you back. I think we saw 1v4 even in the Players' Cup. And so, well played by them playing to that end game and realizing that my team didn't have good Ferrothorn answers there, and wouldn't be able to do anything about that. So, going 1-1 today is okay. Some really long games, so we're just going to cut it off there after 2 games. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more of it, please do subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time with more videos.